Hey everybody! So in this video, we are not at home. We are actually out of town celebrating our mother's birthday. But since this is something that we've been dealing with for about a week and a half now, we decided that this video is going to be about insomnia. Now, for the last week and a half, we haven't been able to fall asleep until sometime around 3 or 4 a.m. And yeah, that's really terrible. It's very not fun and we're not enjoying it at all. So we decided, since we've noticed that this is a topic that's coming up a lot in a lot of the groups that we're in, that we talk about it. So when it comes to DID and OSDD systems, insomnia can have lots of different causes, just like with anybody. Whether you're a system or not, insomnia can be multifaceted. But the most common reasons seem to be anxiety, PTSD or complex PTSD symptoms such as night terrors, nightmares, hypervigilance, and flashbacks, and switching. Now, you might be asking, why switching? Well, at night is often a vulnerable time for a lot of systems. People who have suffered trauma generally do not feel safe being vulnerable. Sleep, being asleep, these are very vulnerable things. So this can create a lot of stress, which can create a lot more switching than you might see during the day. And switching can also happen during sleep, which then interrupts the body's sleep and you don't get decent rest, thus causing the insomnia. With anxiety, again, anxiety is very common for trauma survivors, especially at bedtime, because being vulnerable, relaxing in order to sleep, these things can feel very unsafe. And honestly, it can become kind of a cycle where you have difficulty sleeping one night and this creates anxiety, and then when you try to sleep the next night, you feel anxious and that makes it hard to sleep, and it just becomes a self-defeating loop. Now, when it comes to PTSD and complex PTSD symptoms, if you are a system and you have DID or OSDD, then everything that we have ever learned says that at least one member of your system is going to meet the criteria for PTSD or complex PTSD. Trauma-based disorders like DID and OSDD and PTSD seem to go very hand in hand. Where there is one, there is the other. And because PTSD, no matter whether it's complex or typical PTSD, comes with a lot of stress, inability to relax, often in the form of hypervigilance. Hypervigilance makes you very on guard. It makes it very difficult for you to relax, to feel safe, and sleeping requires you to relax. And with PTSD or complex PTSD, you also often have nightmares or night terrors. This is also very common in general for trauma survivors, whether or not they meet the full criteria for PTSD and whether or not they have DID or OSDD. Nightmares are unfortunately a symptom of being traumatized. This can make it very difficult to sleep. Night terrors, same thing. It can make it very difficult to sleep when you're being awoken by feelings of terror and overwhelm. And again, same thing with flashbacks, whether they are visual, emotional, physical, sensory of any kind, flashbacks make it very hard to sleep. And because nighttime is often a vulnerable and difficult time for trauma survivors, it's prime time for flashbacks. Now, the question, of course, that many of you are probably wondering is, what do you do about it? Well, it's going to depend on what's causing the insomnia. Sometimes de-stressing is going to be the answer. in which case you're going to want to find healthy, positive coping mechanisms to help you de-stress. One thing that we definitely recommend is having a soothing bedtime routine. Listen to calming music, read a calming book, drink some nice calming beverage, nothing alcoholic because that will contribute to your problems and is not a healthy coping mechanism. Alcohol might make you feel sleepy at first, but it will make your sleep quality less throughout the night, so we definitely don't recommend that. But something like tea, cocoa, something warm and soothing can definitely be very helpful. But whatever it is you choose to do, make sure it is healthy, make sure it is safe, make sure that it makes you feel good and positive, and make sure that it's relaxing for you, because what is relaxing for one person or system may not be relaxing for someone else. And in other cases, maybe that's not enough, or maybe that's not working at all, in which case you may need to see a doctor and get some medical help. There is nothing wrong with that. Sometimes there are other underlying conditions that might be causing your sleep problems. You perhaps may have a sleep disorder going on in your system, or there might be some other medical thing that is causing difficulty with sleep. It's important to get that checked out and make sure that there is not a medical cause, especially if the insomnia is ongoing or chronic. And if that's not the issue, sometimes you just have to wait it out and figure out exactly what the root cause is and work through whatever particular issues are preventing you from getting good sleep. That's what we're working on doing right now. We've been experiencing a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, a lot of nightmares, so we are working on soothing, calming, dealing with trauma triggers and different things like that. And we're doing the best that we can, and we're sure that all of you are doing the best that you can. So if you're struggling to sleep, just remember, it is not your fault. Okay, these things happen. Whether you have trauma or not, sleeping can sometimes be difficult. You've not done anything wrong, and it can get better. You just have to find the right approach. And sometimes it's going to take some trial and error, and that's okay. Remember that insomnia happens to lots of people. You are not alone. So we hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Have a good day, everybody.